Plenty of Crawford County parents made their voices heard at today's Crawford County Commissioners meeting concerning Crawford County's school mask policy. You'll hear from a parent and a Crawford County Commissioner coming up.
Plus, looking for leads in a new location. The search for the missing Welch, Oklahoma girls continues. And the COC title could be decided tonight as the undefeated Carthage Tigers look to spoil homecoming for the undefeated Joplin Eagles. Gonna have a preview.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Many parents made their voices heard at today's Crawford County Commissioners meeting. The majority of them are unhappy with USD 250's new masks in class policy. KOAM's Mike Mahoney spoke to parents and a county commissioner to learn more.
Friday's Crawford County Commissioners meeting was much livelier than usual, but that's because commissioners were hearing from the public about USD 250's new policy concerning masks in the classroom.
Let's sacrifice for the common good for a little while. And if we do, we'll all come out better on the other side.
People have come forward and told you that their children were suffering. And I ask you to really believe them.
The KDHE and CDC are pushing junk science to gain compliance that buttresses their argument.
Last week, the USD 250 school board announced that masks in class will be optional if Crawford County meets certain health requirements related to COVID-19. While some people at Friday's county commissioner meeting supported the new policy, many parents in attendance felt that student mask wearing should be 100% their choice.
Give parents the option. I don't care if you send your kid in a hazmat suit. You know, we just want the option, just like you have an option to get a shot, whether you believe in that or not. And let's just make it simple. I mean, we've been dealing with this long enough. We should know by now, and personal choice.
Crawford County Commissioner Jeremy Johnson says he understands parent concerns and got the impression that many of them are worried that school mask mandates will always be present in Crawford County. But he says recent data concerning the coronavirus in Crawford County doesn't back up those fears.
Our numbers have gone down considerably. I've not seen the final ones because they've not been released yet for this week. But as of yesterday, we only had 17 new cases in the county, which is half of what they were the week prior. And this is after a week of students not being required to wear masks in schools. That's promising data going forward.
In Crawford County, Kansas, Mike Mahoney, KOAM News.
While the majority of public comments focused on masks in the classroom, some meeting attendees also let commissioners know they thought the county's quarantine policy was cumbersome and heavy-handed. If you'd like to listen to the parent comments or just watch all of today's Crawford County Commissioners meeting, we've put a link in this story on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. Investigators this morning continued the search for 2 girls who went missing from Welch, Oklahoma in 1999. Authorities believe Ashley Freeman, Laura Bible, were kidnapped and murdered, but their bodies have never been found. Today, investigators searched the property at 627 South Ottawa Street in Pitcher based on interviews with Ronnie Busick, who is in prison for his role in the case.
I've been more hands-on getting this place ready to search. There are cellars, wells and stuff back behind this property, as well as there's 2 places that they say that could be cellars behind the property. We were just off a little bit the last time.
Investigators did not find anything today, but plan to keep looking as new leads come up. A Monette, Missouri man is dead after a crash near Goodman. The Missouri State Highway Patrol says Brandon Wellbaum was driving down Route C when he ran off the road. His car flipped. Wellbaum passed away at the scene. Springfield, Missouri police have a suspect in custody after a stabbing at Mercy Hospital. Early this morning, Mercy Springfield tweeted that there had been an incident at the hospital's surgery center, then later tweeted that the entire hospital was under lockdown. It was later revealed that the lockdown was because of a stabbing in the hospital. The woman who was stabbed works at Mercy, and authorities say her attacker knew her. The victim had what police referred to as non-life-threatening injuries. The suspect was arrested just before noon. Doug Heddy joining us now. Nice summer day for some football.
Yeah, it looks like a pretty good evening for high school football for us tonight. Temperature's a little warm, a little bit on the windy side, but it's going to be a pretty nice evening. We're going to have pretty much clear skies across the region, which you can see across the entire 4-state area. Not much going on, and this is our weather for the next couple days before our next storm system starts to affect us by Sunday night. Look at our temps. We're still in the mid to upper 80s once you get out across southeastern Kansas, northeastern parts of Oklahoma. Also a little bit on the windy side. We've had south winds picking up today, sustained winds kind of in that 10 to 20 mile per hour range, but we've been getting gusts 20 upwards of 30 miles per hour at times. So it's going to stay windy through the evening hours tomorrow and Sunday as well. Temps are going to drop back through the 80s, 70s, eventually near 70 later on tonight. Severe threat moves in late Sunday. We'll talk about that here in a bit.
Doug, thank you. Tonight is a big night of high school football games in the four-state area. None bigger, though, than Joplin's game against Carthage. Jacob Leonard joins us live from Junk Field in Joplin for more on tonight's game.
Well, this is the game that we've been waiting for weeks now. The Joplin Eagles host the Carthage Tigers tonight. Now, both teams are undefeated, coming into the night with matching 6-0 records. Now, whoever wins this one does not quite clinch the COC League Championship, but definitely with just 2 weeks ago, whoever does win tonight will be in the driver's seat for that league title. We're going to have a full preview of this game coming up in sports. Jordan?
See you in a few minutes. Jacob Leonard, thank you. Still ahead, the Joplin Globe is changing up the way it gets the paper to you. Also, Kansas family has been waiting nearly 80 years for this moment. The return of their family member lost in the attack on Pearl Harbor. A change is coming to the way Joplin Globe subscribers receive their paper. The Globe today announced subscribers are going to be getting their paper by mail instead of through contracted carriers. They will still get the paper the same day, but this will change when, during the day, subscribers get those papers.
This move is going to, save expense. The cost of delivering the paper is one of the highest costs that we have at the Globe, and by combining with the post office, which is already sending a carrier to every home every day, it's going to allow us to save money and reinvest into keeping our news product strong.
The change begins November 2nd. During the attack on Pearl Harbor, Cleveland, Kansas native Walter Belt was lost aboard the USS Oklahoma. For decades, his family, just wanting to give Walter a final resting place at home, now has that opportunity. Reporter Joe Baker has more.
After decades of waiting, Pearl Harbor sailor Walter Belt Jr. is coming home. Great-niece Deneen Urbanek has heard stories about her great-uncle her entire life.
I have grown up my 53 years hearing about him every year on the anniversary of Pearl Harbor. And it has been a joy, actually, to work on bringing him home.
It's been nearly 80 years since the Ellsworth native died during the attack on Pearl Harbor, along with 428 other crew members. At the time, the fireman first class was making sure the motors were working on the USS Oklahoma.
The structure was different than it is today, but at that time, the chief was the highest enlisted rank, and he was one below that in 2 years.
Over the years, the Ellsworth community has found ways to honor their hometown hero, until finally in the mid-2000s, a DNA tracking process began. Once Belt's DNA was identified, it was only a matter of time until he came back home.
I think the family knew it was coming once they pulled DNA. They just didn't know when.
This August, family finally received the call they've been waiting years for. Walter Belt Jr. was coming home.
Overwhelm and just disbelief that it's finally happening after almost 80 years.
On Saturday morning, a procession ceremony for the World War II veteran will take place in downtown Ellsworth, followed by a burial at the Ellsworth Memorial Cemetery.
Again, that was Joe Baker reporting. We take time now to honor a local veteran, Corporal Walter Smittle, served in this Army during World War II. His hometown, Columbus, Kansas. And we are proud to thank and salute Corporal Walter Smittle, tonight's four-state hero. Later, big Friday night right here in the four states, the much-anticipated matchup of two undefeated teams as Carthage takes on Joplin. Jacob Leonard will have a preview coming up in sports.
Plus, the heat's really going to be on for the weekend. Also, a severe threat. We're going to look at that coming up. Well, it turned out to be a great Friday for us today. A little bit on the warm side. In fact, near record highs. Most of us went into the upper 80s. The record on this date is 93 degrees, so we really were not that far off. And it's still very warm, but it's a nice evening. Mid 80s in Missouri, Arkansas. Once you get into Oklahoma, upper 80s. The near 90 once you get out across southeastern Kansas. So still very warm, but it looks like a nice night for high school football. Columbus is having some festivities going on this weekend as well. South winds, they've been kind of strong, about 10 to 20 miles per hour, and then we've been getting gusts a little bit higher than that throughout the afternoon hours, gusts anywhere from like 20 upwards to 30 miles per hour. Now it's going to stay breezy for us tonight and really the next couple days ahead of our next storm system. Looks good, 7th and range line right now, pretty much clear skies, currently at 85, south winds at 14, humidity not bad at 44%. Through the rest of the evening, slide back through the 80s, 70s. We're going to bottom out near 70 later on tonight, so really not that bad. Stays actually fairly mild across the region. Nothing going on here. The radar's clean, pretty much clear skies. Really, the entire Central Plains look pretty good. Let's go out to the west. You can see this area of high pressure, so a ridge of high pressure. That's what's giving us the heat right now. And then the beginnings of our next storm system out across the western third of the country, and that's going to affect us by Sunday night, heading into Monday. All right, let's go through time. Let's go into the weekend. Here's 6 a.m. We are going to have some mid and upper level clouds. Not a bad start. Kind of windy again tomorrow. Similar to today, maybe a little windier. But look at our highs. We go up to 93 during the afternoon. So, I mean, we should set a record. The record tomorrow is 92. So we'll at least tie it. 71 in the morning, 87 by noon. High temp at 93. Those south winds at 15 to 25. Tomorrow night looks good. We'll have partly cloudy skies, lower 70s, 4 lows. Sunday looks fine too. It's going to be warm, upper 80s. We'll start to get some clouds in here during the afternoon hours. So here's 3:30. You can see some thunderstorms trying to develop out to the west, and then they really get going as we go through the evening hours. Here's 9:30. If you're traveling north to Kansas City for the Chiefs game, we're going to have to watch for storms working into the second half of that game. You can see these thunderstorms all through southeastern Kansas, northeastern Oklahoma, and then everybody will get them as we go into Sunday night. Some of these storms are going to be strong, possibly severe. If we have any severe thunderstorms, the main threat here is going to be large hail and winds gusting over 60 miles per hour. Also some very heavy amounts of rain. You can see showers, thunderstorms continue into Monday morning, and then this system will roll out of here. Monday afternoon looks okay, and then we do it again on Tuesday. Our next storm system rolls in with good chances for showers and thunderstorms, also a severe threat. All right, 93 for us tomorrow, 87 on Sunday, 74 cooler on Monday, back to 84 on Tuesday, but chances for thunderstorms sticking around just about each and every day next week.
Still can't get over those temperatures, Doug.
I know, it's going to be hot tomorrow.
It's something. All right, thanks so much. Coming up in sports, Joplin and Carthage squaring off tonight for first place in the COC League standings. Jacob Leonard joins us live from Junk Field in Joplin for a preview of tonight's undefeated showdown between the Tigers and the Eagles next.
Welcome back and welcome to Junk Field in Joplin, where tonight the hometown Eagles host the Carthage Tigers. Now both teams are undefeated coming into the night, entering this one with matching 6-0 records. Danny Terzer gives us a look at the biggest game of the week and probably the biggest game of the year here in the 4 states.
Whoever wins this game is going to definitely be in the driver's seat.
After tonight, only one team will remain unbeaten in the COC, Carthage or Joplin.
It's pretty stressful. You know, I think kids obviously are going to get hyped up and really appreciate this atmosphere. But yeah, as a coach, you always get nervous about these weeks.
The Carthage defense has been reliable, suffocating teams week in and week out.
You know, they've been fantastic. I'm not sure they could have done much better, you know, with our first group in there. We've got speed on that side, which has really shown out. We've got experience back there. It's been a great group.
They work extremely hard, and I know what level we need to be at whenever we play them.
This week, the Tigers face an Eagles offense that's had no problem finding the end zone.
We have a lot of playmakers on the field, so I feel like maybe extending plays, but I know they're going to try and limit me getting out of the pocket, but just standing there and make plays and get balls to my receivers. Having big guys like Terrence Gibson, getting him the ball, and guys like L.T. Atherton, some other guys like Jack Stanley, they're really fun to play with, and they make my job a lot easier.
We trust our cornerbacks, our secondaries, to contain those wide receivers, H-backs, tight ends.
This one feels a lot like a playoff game.
Here we take a lot of pride in winning the conference championship. You know, we're the top dogs around here, that type of thing, but it means a lot to us, and a lot of these guys just love being the champs around here.
You know, all of us have that goal long-term wise of having success in the playoffs, and obviously when you play teams the caliber of Carthage, that helps you get ready for the playoffs.
Danny Terzer, KOAM Sports.
Another big win in the COC this evening. Webb City on the road against Nixa. The Cardinals are 4-2 coming into the night, while Nixa is 5-1, with their only loss coming against Joplin in week 2. On the Kansas side, Girard is at Burlington tonight in district play, trying to stay undefeated. This one here, also interested in. Columbus hosts Galena. The Bulldogs are in first place in the district and have won 4 games in a row. Those games, like most of the games in our area tonight, begin at 7 o'clock. Moving on to the NFL, the Kansas City Chiefs are 2-2 in their first 4 games of the season. Last week, they went on the road, beat the Philadelphia Eagles 42-30. This week, they come back home, hosting the Buffalo Bills on Sunday night. Like we do here every Friday night, though, right now it's time to hear from the voice of the Chiefs, Mitch Holthus, in this week's Minute with Mitch.
We can find inspiration in a lot of places, from cancer survivors who have shown the extreme courage, and this is Crucial Catch Week for the Chiefs Kingdom in our quest to intercept cancer. We can also find it on the football field. Take into account Chiefs tight end Jody Fortson. Originally signed with the Chiefs in the winter of 2019 as a wide receiver, he was then cut, put on the practice squad, signed again, cut again, put on the practice squad. Jody Fortson was signed again after being cut, and this time he made it. 3 signs, 2 cuts, 2 practice squad stints, and touchdowns in the past 2 weeks. Oh, and Fortson's hometown is Buffalo, New York. And this week, the Chiefs play his hometown Buffalo Bills on Sunday Night Football. Fortson has made it as an inspiration to all of us on this Minute with Mitch. The Minute with Mitch is brought to you by Como Jewelry. Every day's game day, Como Jewelry, Pittsburgh, Joplin.
Sunday's Chiefs-Bills game kicks off at 7:20 at Arrowhead Stadium. Right now, the Chiefs are 2.5-point favorites, so that's a big game coming up on Sunday. But before we get to that, we got a bunch of big games here in the 4 states tonight, including this big Carthage-Joplin undefeated showdown. We're going to have highlights and scores from all across the area tonight at 10 on KOAM on 4 State Friday night. That's it for sports. We're back with more news after.
What's coming up tonight on KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. Going to have more on some Crawford County parents voicing their opinion on the future of mask mandates in schools. Also, the underwhelming September jobs report has the state of the economy under sharp focus. And a new study says living next to busy roads can increase the risk of developing heart failure. That, of course, much more coming your way tonight. KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. All right, Lego, take a look at this, is releasing a 53-inch replica of the Titanic. The company says it's accurate, too, with detailed inner rooms. Now, it's got more than 9,000 pieces and a Titanic price tag to match. The Lego set to build the ship costs about $630. That's impressive, but all I have to say is good luck with the patience needed to.
I've never had those patients.
Me either. No. Me either. Hey, good night for football. A little bit warm, but.
Yeah, it's going to be warm. It's going to be a little windy, but it looks pretty good through the evening hours. Tomorrow, even hotter. Should set a record high of 93. 87 on Sunday. Thunderstorms roll in Sunday night.
All right. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you right back here at 10. Have a great night.